What is up, everyone? Happy Freedom. Happy Freedom Monday. Welcome to another episode of Coffee with Hooligans. We're going to read through the schedule really quick, and then we're going to make sure all the chats are running. We do have the White House Press Briefing today at 2:15. Well, that's when she's supposed to be on stage. She'll probably be late, about 30 minutes from now. And then we'll be starting off the live with a video titled Rebuild of Collapsed Interstate 95 to Take Months in Philadelphia. Their freeway fell apart, and I guess it's a really big deal. There's a ton of traffic on that road every day. They said something like 100,000 drivers or something every day is affected by this. Then we have a video titled White House accused of violating flag code with pride display, because they hung the rainbow flag in the center, and then the outside bars and stars are not held above like they should be. But most of that video actually talks about Orange Eagle, the way he's treated versus how Old Man Walter's treated. Then we have a video titled Former President Trump boards plane in New Jersey. That's just talking about him heading to Florida because he is supposed to show up for that indictment or whatever tomorrow. He's supposed to be arraigned or something like that. There's already people in Florida. Oreo Express is there. Reuters is down there live right now. We'll probably show some of that because I know KJP is going to be late today. And then we have, the last video of the live is titled Florida Woman Shot 11 Times and Survives. I don't know exactly the context, but some guy lost his marbles and went on, like, I don't know. He lost his marbles. He tried to take it out on her, then ended up taking it out on himself. Then we'll be wrapping up things today with an article titled Fox News sends Tucker Carlson a cease and desist letter over his Twitter show. It's a really brief article, but we kind of knew that was going to happen. We knew Fox wasn't going to let Tucker Carlson slide. No, sir. He's pretty much Fox on his own. He's got tons of views and stuff over on Twitter. I actually like it. I've seen both episodes. It's awesome. It's good stuff. Let's make sure everything is running smoothly. We'll go ahead and get this started. What's up, Robert? What's up, Shanti? What's up, Sly Dog? What's up, Lonnie? Happy freedom, you hooligans. What's up, Bob Marley? What's up, Nanner Nose? What's up, Gregory? What's up, BH? What's up, Hair Juicer? What's up, Miss Jamie? What's up, Shanti? What's up, JP? Appreciate you guys being here. What's up, BH? What's up, Hydrodynamic? Happy freedom. What's up, Tommy Temper? What's up, Marlene? What's up, Nomad? What's up, Christine? Appreciate all of you. What's up, Snooks? Happy freedom. What's up, Wet Blanket? What's up, T. Lawden? Let's see. Bryce, why are welding jobs so low pay? $12 an hour with no benefits. A door greeter at Costco makes $24 an hour with full benefits. No wonder why there's a shortage in welders. Let's see. We have a pay shortage. I don't know. I think the area dictates all that stuff. Like where I live, nobody makes any money. You're lucky to find a job for $15 an hour. But if you drive an hour south and you go to Muskegon, jobs are paying $25 an hour. So I think it's based on the area. But yeah, skilled trades should definitely be paid more than a door greeter. I agree. Let's see. What's up, Daryl? What's up, 24/7? What's up, Gabby? Snooks, my Twitch is frozen. Well, we'll see in a second. Hydrodynamic. Tucker has that FU money. Yeah, he does. Tucker's balling. He doesn't have to do that stuff. He does it because he likes it. I mean, unless there's some other reason. Appreciate you guys all being here. What's up, everyone? The JeffMAC Live secret YouTube channel. Happy freedom. Make sure you guys are all racking those likes up. Let's get everything filled up before we get started. What's up, Tom? What's up, everyone on Twitch? Let me see if I can figure out what's going on here. Might just be one of those days. Yeah, it says Twitch is not live. Let me see if I can figure this out. Oh, what's the title of the show today? Let's see what happens. Come on, man. Do the thing. Oh, it's just not turning on. Something's wrong with Twitch. I don't know. I just tried to make it go live and it will not. It will not. Twitch is broken. I don't know what's wrong with it. Maybe I'm banned. No, I wouldn't be able to log in. I don't know what's going on with Twitch. I don't know. Oh, now it says we're live. Are we actually live? Are we not live? Okay, I guess we're live. On my end, it says we're not live, but when I go to Twitch, there we are. I don't know. I think I fixed it. I don't know. Everybody should be on Kick anyways. Twitch sucks. Let's see. Is this from today? I can't tell if people are on Kick today or if this is from yesterday. The The chat doesn't clear on Kick. This has gotta be from today. What's up, Salty Ragu? What's up, Jimmy? Is that a Charmander? Salty Ragu, sweet, I found a Pokey thing. That's so awesome. That's so awesome. Got a Charmander in the chat. I'm with that. That's a good way to start Monday. I'll tell you what. What's up, everyone on Odyssey? What's up, Salty Ragu? What's up, Nefties? Happy Freedom. I don't know, Salty Ragu. We're as live as we're going to be getting today. What's up, everyone on Rumble? Appreciate you guys being here. What's up, Lifelike? What's up, English? What's up, Mars Star? What's up, Daryl? What's up, Patty? What's up, Lori? Happy Freedom. Make sure you guys are hitting that like button over there. Maybe we'll hit the front page of Rumble again. What's up, 10 Man? What's up, everyone on jeffmaclive.com. Alright, we're going to get started with this first video. Once again, it's titled, Rebuild of Collapsed Interstate 95 to Take Months in Philadelphia.
A part of I-95, a critical U.S. highway, collapsed in Philadelphia on Sunday. Officials said it buckled after a tanker truck carrying gasoline caught fire below a northbound overpass of the interstate. No deaths or injuries have been reported so far, but I-95 is the main north-south interstate for the East Coast, running from Miami to the Canadian border, with roughly 160,000 vehicles passing over the roadway every day. And a rebuild will take months, according to Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro.
We expect it to take that time, and we will have that specific timeline set forth once the engineers in PennDOT have completed their review. To expedite this process and to cut through the red tape, tomorrow morning I plan to issue a disaster declaration, allowing the Commonwealth to immediately draw down federal funds and move quickly to repair and reconstruct this roadway.
Officials say the adjacent southbound overpass was also closed as a fire made it structurally unsound. Shapiro added that while there were indications that some gasoline may have spilled into the nearby Delaware River, booms were quickly put into the water to contain the spread. He stressed there was no threat of drinking water contamination. U.S. President Joe Biden was briefed on the collapse, and the White House has reportedly offered assistance. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg said I-95's closure will have, quote, significant impacts on the region and the city of Philadelphia. Officials said travelers should expect delays as the overpass is rebuilt and encourage them to plan alternate travel routes for their commutes.
Well, Pete Buttigieg, he'll get it fixed, right? He's good at fixing things, sort of, not really. Nobody talks about Ohio anymore. That just went away. Let's see. What's up, Bubba? KJP is never on time? No, I don't expect her to be on time. Flowers looks like a bomb. Yeah, it's kind of sketchy. What they're describing is sketchy. They think that a tanker truck or something caught fire, and then the structure just collapsed. That's all I'm hearing. I've watched 3 videos on it. Nobody knows what happened. Just magically fell apart. 160,000 drivers every day have to find a new route. It's going to take months to fix. I don't know. Could be just a coincidence. Could be strategic. You never know. What's up, Sarah? Happy Freedom. Gregory, the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Yeah, that's triggering to me after playing so much Fallout. The Commonwealth. Out in the wasteland here. Let's see. Reading through the chat. BH, there never is a threat as far as officials are concerned. It's true. Doesn't mess up their life that much. What's up, Dave? I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing? Yeah, Subaru's still doing good. Haven't had to fix it in a while. Got this goofy catalytic converter light that won't shut off. I got the catalytic converter replaced and the light still comes on. The code is still flying for some reason. Bryce, a guy flipping burgers can make more than welders here in Michigan. Seriously, it could be. I know a couple people that are welders and stuff. One of them is like got lots of training, but he's working at Subway right now. So I mean, I believe you. What's up, Raja? Happy Freedom. JP, Walmart used to hire disabled veteran door greeters. I missed that. Yeah, Walmart's Trash Bandicoot now. Now they're door Nazis. What's up, Enterprise? Yeah, it's a fire that did that. Yeah, I don't know. Hydrodynamic, I blame white supreme pizzas. That's probably what took the interstate down. It was all those white supreme pizzas. Send Trump another indictment. Let him know it's his fault the bridge went down. Miss Jamie, it seems like a lot of things going boom and a ton of missing explosive material. It's crazy. Yep. Yeah, they don't even talk about that now. That's like the ton of money that they stole from Canada's airport or wherever it was. That was in the news one day and then it was gone. They don't talk about that at all. Blue Moon just sold my Outback. What year was it? Tracy, a girl I work with, graduated from welding school this week. That's awesome. Drunken Spider, Trash Bandicoot made me spit out my drink. I know someone's gonna jack my stuff. They should make a JeffMAC action figure for all the catchphrases I got. Bubba, heat weakened by... Oh, weaken the concrete and steel. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, Mike, I think you're right. I can't say that out loud because of community guidelines, but yeah, you're right. That's what got it. That's what got it. Blue Moon, it's a mystery. I need to call Scooby and the gang. Let's see. What's up, Mr. Beans and Beans? Happy Freedom. What's up, Grey Wolf? Appreciate you guys being here. It looks like Twitch is still running. You made it just in time. Jimmy, seems like an O2 sensor. It could be. It could be that the sensor is bad on the Subaru. They've changed everything else. They've changed everything trying to get at it. They even they serviced the car because they said that there's two filters on the transmission, one on the outside, one on the inside. And if the one on the inside is dirty, it can cause that same issue. So they serviced the car and everything. It still flags that light. I think it's the sensor at this point. Jeb, the aliens hate bridges. Is that what it is? Star Trek showed up, took out the bridge, dipped out before anyone captured it. If it was bigger news, I'd be asking if they released any new documents on Old Man Walter, any new indictments, any new evidence on his son. Every time something like that happens, all of a sudden they're like, quick, look over here. Don't worry about Old Man Walter. You gotta look this way. Every time. Pumpkin, was anyone squished or burnt to death at the overpass collapse? Not that I heard. I watched 3 or 4 videos about that and just chose the best one out of all of them. I don't think there was any injuries. There's plenty of footage from just, you know, random individuals who were in the area driving over the interstate with the like flames coming up the side. It's all portrait video and whatnot. There's tons of it. So we're gonna go ahead and move on to this next video. It's titled "White House accused of violating flag code with pride display." They were going ham over the weekend. There was so much rainbow stuff going on. I could have covered it, I guess, but I figured that none of us had anything nice to say about it. And they just took down this fairly prestigious guy. I want to say his name is Jordan Peterson. Let me see. I want to make sure I'm saying his name correctly. Yeah, Jordan Peterson. He's on all platforms. And he doesn't really seem to pick sides. He seems to just talk about all the political stuff and popular topics from a logical standpoint, as much as that can be done. He's a pretty good speaker, I think. I've listened to Jordan Peterson a few times. I've watched quite a few of his videos. He made a video about shapeshifters, and he was just speaking literal, and I don't think he said anything bad, but they gave him a hate speech strike, and so he's suspended right now on YouTube, and I don't know if he's gonna come back, because from what I understand, if you get a hate speech strike, you're done. Like, you're just done. And so they just took him out, and he's like a big famous guy or whatever. And so with that happening, I think it was Friday, that happened. After that happened, I was like, nah, we're not going to show the rainbow stuff all over, that was happening. It was happening in Washington, D.C. I think it was also happening in New York. There was lives, there was parades, there was the White House stuff going on. I was like, nah, we're not going to show that. We don't have anything nice to say. Then why risk it? Why risk it? Plus, who wants to see all that stuff anyway? Get some J 420 code? Yeah. Yep, that's what it is. It's a 420 code. Snooks, there's one car trapped underneath the bridge. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I didn't realize that. Hydrodynamic, did the bridge overdose on fentanyl? It might have. Klaus Daniels is over here rioting. He's destroying stuff. I don't know if you guys can hear that. Drunken Spider, I hope so. JP, too close to the truth. Yeah, you're right on the mark there. I'm trying to think. They're trying to make the phrase "leave kids alone" as a phobic thing. Like you're a bigot now if you say that. That's now bad to say. Like we're right there. We're right there. If we let this stuff slide, we're gonna normalize this bad stuff. And those people that want to hurt kids, they'll just be out in the open doing it, and there won't be anything you can do to stop it because you'll be the one in the wrong. Because if we use these goofy phrases and stuff and we act like it's okay, that's how it becomes normalized. That stuff is not okay. I don't know. We're going to see a change here real quick. They're trying to normalize all that stuff where people are very interested in hurting kids. They're trying to rephrase everything. It's no good. It's no good. Thanks so much, Mr. Beansy Beans, for the bits over on Twitch. Let's see, on Twitch they have a Orange Eagle, Old Man Walter parody AI debate, and it's really funny. I'll have to check it out. I'll have to check that out. Oh, it looks like the White House Press Briefings getting ready. Just flipping through the chat really quick. We're gonna watch this next video. What's up, Shanti? Appreciate you watching on the website. Alright, once again, we're gonna get started on this video titled White House accused of violating flag code on poll oh my god. Let me read this. White House is accused of violating flag code on Pride display. I just erased my thing. Let's go ahead and get this started before the White House press briefing launches. I'm not sure why they're kicking over. They still got 14 minutes. I know she ain't gonna be early. I know that.
Thank you. Let's bring in Kaylee McGee-White, Washington Examiner, Deputy Editor of Restoring America. This is one of those circumstances, Kaylee, where you can't help but feel like there's disparate justice under the law. Let me share, before I get you to weigh in, what South Carolina Congresswoman Nancy Mace has to say about this. It's an interesting take on how it seems like on the one end, if something's happening with Joe Biden, it's a very long, slow, careful process, whereas if it's happening with Donald Trump, it's decided almost immediately. Listen to Nancy Mace.
When we got access to the suspicious activity reports, the day we got access to the SARS reports, Alvin Bragg indicted Trump in New York. The day that we got access to this 1023 form showing bribery between Joe Biden and Hunter Biden in Ukraine, they indict Donald Trump again. Every time the Oversight Committee has evidence of corruption, bribery, money laundering on the Biden family, they indict Donald Trump.
All right, Kaylee, your thoughts. Is Congressman Mace right or wrong on this?
Well, Republicans are right to feel frustrated with this because it is obvious that there are two standards of justice, one for the establishment and another for everyone the establishment doesn't like. Donald Trump is obviously the #1 figure that the establishment doesn't like, and he's been subjected to the Russiagate hoax, 2 impeachments, 2 indictments, and one need not defend Trump's behavior, especially in this particular indictment that just was released, in order to point this out. The fact is that Hillary Clinton, Joe Biden have been accused of similar crimes. Joe Biden stored documents in his garage improperly. Hillary Clinton used a bleach bit to hide the fact that she was illegally using a private email server to send classified information around. These are the exact same crimes, and yet Trump is the only one who has to go to a courthouse to answer for them. So it is selective prosecution in this case.
Meantime, a new ABC News poll shows a plurality of people who believe that the former president should have been charged with a crime. Let me show you that. The number is a bit of a surprise for some. 48% say yes, he should have been charged with a crime. But there's a second part of this I think you'll find instructive, Kaylee. That very same poll also shows a plurality that is, think the charges are in fact politically motivated. Does that make sense to you?
It does, because Trump himself is such a divisive figure, and he does tend to bring out emotions in people. So a lot of the people who hate Donald Trump are going to say, yes, he should answer for these things. And yet a lot of people are also going to admit that the prosecution of him is in fact political. And the fact is that, you know, the James Comey standard that was set back during when Hillary Clinton was accused of very similar crimes, he set the standard that she could get away with this and that she could go without facing any charges or any prosecution. So that's the question, is are we going to apply that same James Comey standard to Donald Trump, or are we going to now decide to enforce the law? This is the problem, is when you decide that the law is unimportant enough to set aside for one political figure, you have to keep that same standard moving forward. And so this is going to be a really tricky thing for the Biden Justice Department, which has already been accused of politicizing justice and multiple investigations, including the investigation into Joe Biden, including the investigation into Hunter Biden.
Gotcha.
So whether or not they're going to be able to handle this one is important moving forward.
Okay, I've got about 10 seconds. I just want to get your thoughts very quickly. The administration celebrating Pride Month in the LGBTQ plus community with a display at the White House. I want to show it for the folks at home. They're being accused of violating the U.S. flag code over a Pride Month display. Basically, this display has the Pride flag in the middle of it. Anyone who knows the law knows that you have to have the American flag in the middle in a circumstance like that, and it's to be elevated. Your quick thoughts on that before we go.
Yeah, you know, it might seem like just a tasteless violation of flag etiquette here, but the message that the Biden administration is sending is pretty clear. This ideology runs America. It's the new state religion. And a lot of Americans see this and are offended by it, not because they oppose equal rights, not because they oppose, you know, love who you love. It's because they see this flag and they see the destruction of women's sports and women's private spaces, the indoctrination of their children, the politicization of the medical community. This is what happens. In California, just this week, California Democrats are trying to pass a law that would criminalize parents who refuse to use their children's preferred pronouns. This is where that flag leads to, and a lot of Americans see that and recognize that.
Kaylee McGee-White, Washington Examiner. Kaylee McGee-White, thank you so much for spending time with us this morning. We'll have you back. Thanks again.
I'm Steve Doocy.
Well, happy Men's Mental Health Month, by the way, if you guys didn't know. That's what June is. Let's see, 14 minutes. We got plenty of time to cover another video. Mark, what are they proud of? They don't know. Hydrodynamics starting to think that the White House is trolling us at this point. Yeah, they have been. 2 years now. That's why everything that happens is just, Trump did it. They should come out with t-shirts. Trump did it. What's up, Dana? Happy freedom. Jason, how much of this stuff do we need? I know they want to rainbow everything. Denise. Oh man, Walter hates the USA. He's got to. He's got to. He doesn't do anything to help any of us. I know that. Guess some Jay, the FBI is forgetting Biden indictments. Yeah, they forgot all right. Yeah, those polls they took doesn't make any sense. Majority of people think that, well, I don't want to say majority, 40-something%. Almost half of people think that Orange Eagle should be charged criminally. For what? Like, for what? That doesn't make any sense. Happy freedom be a blessing. Thanks for being here. I don't know. I don't think that they could accuse... At this point, the Orange Eagle could actually do something bad and they could put it all over the news, and the majority of people who support the Orange Eagle, it ain't even going to faze them. the news is crying wolf on him every day. Like, all the time they're crying wolf on him. And at this point, nobody cares. The majority of people don't care, especially people who support the Orange Eagle. They don't care. You could say he did whatever on the news. It just doesn't even matter at this point. Just gonna assume it's a lie. They're doing it to themselves. Mike, for documents that he declassified. Yeah, for documents that he was in position to declassify. Pence wasn't. Old man Walter wasn't. They weren't supposed to have those documents. They were not able to declassify them. They were not in the presidential seat when they took those documents, and that's the only way they could have declassified them themselves. So this is all nonsense. Like, the whole deal is nonsense. Be a blessing. Did you cover the bridge collapse in Pennsylvania? Yep, we just covered it just a little bit ago. What's up, The Truth? Thanks for being here. Big boys. Polls schmoles. Yeah, I never see any of those polls. They just, I don't know, they just make that up. They get 30 people to mark a box on a little piece of paper. They're like, Americans think. I was like, no, we don't all think the same. What's up, K-Love? Happy freedom. Appreciate you being here. Pumpkin and ABC poll. Yeah. Yep, take it as a grain of salt. And Jeb, it was the aliens. Everything's the aliens at this point. The UFOs did it. That's what happened. Alright, so we're going to cover this next one. Former President Trump boards plane in New Jersey. He's on his way. Well, he's probably in Florida now. At this point. When we get far enough, we'll start showing lives in Florida. It's not that exciting yet. He's not going to be going to the courthouse until tomorrow. So, I don't know, maybe 8 people, 12 people or something last I saw. It was like maybe 15 people standing on the side of the road with Trump flags. It's not like a real big deal. Not the last that I've seen, but we're going to show it anyways when we get to that point. Once again, this is former President Trump boards plane in New Jersey.
Breaking at noon, former President Trump is on the move, traveling to Florida today after spending the morning at his New Jersey golf course. His caravan arrived at Newark Airport this morning, and just about 10 minutes ago, he boarded his plane. Trump remains defiant as he's set to appear before a judge tomorrow on federal felony charges in the classified documents case. CBS 2's John Diaz live in our newsroom. He's been covering the story all morning for us. John.
Yeah, well, Jessica, CBS News reporting that Donald Trump plans on pleading not guilty tomorrow, and he's vowing nothing will ever stop him from running for president again, even if he is convicted, saying, quote, "I'll never leave." Despite now being the most famous criminal defendant in American history, this weekend Trump still hit the campaign trail, calling the 37 federal criminal counts he faces political persecution.
The whole thing is a witch hunt. It's a disgrace. It should never happen.
The charges include obstruction and conspiracy over alleged mishandling of classified documents after leaving office.
He's a very strong candidate. The more charges they put on him, the stronger he seems to get.
The former president faces charges that carry a maximum penalty of decades in prison. Republican Senator Marco Rubio of Florida was on CBS Mornings. He's the vice chair of the Senate Intelligence Committee.
But when Hillary Clinton, though, was accused of mishandling classified documents, you described her actions as disqualifying her from being commander-in-chief. How is this different?
Well, and I think those are arguments that President Trump's opponents will use against him in an election, which is the guy doesn't know how to handle classified documents. That's different from, let's now have an indictment where we're going to try to put this guy in jail for the rest of his life.
The indictment alleges Trump knowingly kept and risked exposing records with America's top secrets, including nuclear and military capabilities. It also alleges he showed some to a writer and political ally, then tried to cover it up and avoid a search warrant.
If even half of it is true, then he's toast. I mean, it's a very detailed indictment, and it's very, very damning.
Now, once the former president lands in Florida, he will no doubt spend the rest of the day huddled with advisors before tomorrow's court case. Then he plans on flying back to New Jersey as golf course there, where he will hold a press conference. Jessica?
All right, John Diaz, thank you.
So we will be covering that tomorrow. I think it's scheduled for tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. That's when Right Side Broadcasting plans on covering it. We're going to cover it as well. Not on YouTube because of community guidelines, but we will show it on all the alternative platforms. Hydrodynamic, this is their plan B. Oh, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I think he'll make it out of this because I still think that their best strategy is to let him just go ahead and get through this next term, because after the next 4 years, he'll be out of the race. There isn't going to be another term. So I think their best strategy is to get out of the way. They're demonizing him right now, but I think when it comes down to it, if they don't have him down and out, they'll just switch sides. They'll just be like, oh, nope, let him go. He'll run. We'll have 4 years of MAGA, and then boom, it'll be over. And then we'll just descend into darkness forever, or maybe we'll get DeSantis. We'll see how it goes. But this is how they're going to end MAGA. Because they'll never be able to keep fighting him for years and years and years. It'll be much easier to just let him go through, do his 4 years, be done with it. Let's see, just reading through the chat. That's just what I think. KJP should be on stage any minute now. I have it pulled up, so when she steps out, we'll get her on the screen right away, so you don't miss any of the nonsense. Nomad, what a joke all this BS is. Yeah, exactly. They're just demonizing him, but they never raided Old Man Walter's house. They didn't raid Pence's house. He's not being drugged through court. The news doesn't hardly talk about it. F-Body Bill.
Prostitute.
Yeah. Mike, I think I've seen that. I don't know. We live in America. I don't worry about what people overseas do. Nomad. I think they're scared to death of what he will do to them if he has 4 more years. They're done if he gets back in, I think. I don't know. The last time he was in, they fought him on every little thing. It was hard for anything to actually happen because every step of the way, they were just, wanted to deny everything, wanted to disagree with everything, wanted to have conflict every step of the way. So, I mean, even if, well, look what Old Man Walter did. He could go ahead and, like, Orange Eagle could get in. He could do away with the deep state. And then 4 years is up. They get in, executive order, boom, right back where we are today. And that's what they'll probably do. They just tear everything down with executive orders. They don't have enough restrictions for their job. They can just do whatever they want. They show it to us every day. Every day they just do whatever they want. And we just sit here and go, well, that's wrong. And everyone's like, yeah, it's wrong. And then they just continue to do it. And then we all just sit here like in disbelief for like over 2 years now. We're just like, well, everything's wrong. And they're like, yep. That's all that happens. Nothing ever happens. Hydrodynamic, lots of people are going to jail if he gets in again. They can't let him win. They got to play dirty. I don't know. Didn't he say he was going to do that to Hillary? Didn't he say if he won, he would take Hillary out? And then it didn't happen. It didn't happen. So, I mean, I don't know. I think he has good intentions, but without being backed up by the rest of the government, it just turns into a big old stalemate. Firmus, are you going to show Miami tomorrow? Yeah. I doubt it's going to get wild. Everybody said that last time. But yeah, I plan on showing it tomorrow. We're going to show the people standing in support of him tomorrow when he's on his way to court and all that stuff. And then on the alternative platforms, we're going to show him speaking at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Guess MJ, I would never take Hillary out. She's kind of gross. Yeah, she's a little too old for me. No, not taking her out to dinner, nothing. Now what it seems, Oklahoma governor endorses DeSantis. Well, that's interesting. Mr. Beansy Beans, they're scared of the Orange Eagle. Yeah. It's because he's got the people backing him. No one's backing old man Walter. Not us, not the majority. What's up, Sam? Happy freedom. Jeb, Democrats will burn the country to the ground before they let the Orange Eagle serve again. Maybe. I don't know, because I guess it depends on the visual tactics. You know, because they went out there and tried to burn the country to the ground when Orange Eagle was in office. And they did that so they could turn around and make flyers and pictures and promotion and say, this is Trump's America, and show buildings on fire and people protesting and laying down on their face saying, I can't breathe, and hands up, don't shoot, and all that stuff. And they were like, this is Trump's America. And now there's no protests and stuff. And they're like, you know, showing sunshine and the birds flying and the bees are buzzing. They're like, this old man Walter's America. It's so nice, blah, blah, blah. So as far as visual go, it seems like Democrats burn the cities down when, you know, the Orange Eagle's in office. You're getting banned, Mercury, for spamming the chat about something that happened over the weekend. Blew it. Blew it on a Monday. That's too bad. Oh well. Bubba, even the Democrats don't want Joe to run. Yeah. I don't think anybody wants old man Walter to run. He can barely ride a bike, let alone run. Well, KJP's late, so we might just move into this next video here. Yeah, we can do that. It's titled Florida Woman Shot 11 Times Survives. This is kind of a crazy thing going on in Florida outside of what's going on with Orange Eagle. Oh. I guess we can't show it. It got taken down. Wow. It got taken down for self-harm topics. I lucked out on that. I was getting ready to show that on the live, and they probably would have hit me with a strike. Fox 13 Tampa Bay. Almost 1 million subscribers. They just took that video down. And they got a blue banner on it. Wow. Okay, I guess we're not going to show that. That's something. The censorship is wild over on YouTube. No one's safe. It doesn't matter if you got 1 million subscribers now. You got to have your tongue deep. Otherwise, they're not fighting for you. They're just going to let you go down and kick the bucket. That's so crazy. I can't believe that. I can't believe that just happened. Well, I guess maybe we'll just move to this article. Yeah. I'm going to post the article in the chat. That way you guys can follow along with me. Watch, I'm going to get halfway through this and then all of a sudden KJP is going to show up. That's how it goes. And it's Monday. I like the little Charmander over on Kick. That makes me like Kick 1,000% more. Alright. So the link I just sent you should take you to this article. This article is fairly short. I think there's supposed to be an image or something in this giant blank space, but because my browser is private, I don't think it allowed the image through. But it's titled, Fox News Sends Tucker Carlson a Cease-and-Desist Letter Over Twitter Show. It says, Fox News sent a cease-and-desist letter to Tucker Carlson on Monday, accusing him of breaking his contract with them by doing his show over on Twitter. The article says that Tucker Carlson's attorney was informed last week that he had breached his contract when he launched his own show over on the Twitter platform. It was it was confirmed on Twitter by his attorney named Harmeet Dillian or something like that. I don't know. You got the article. You'll figure out who that person is. It's his attorney that is representing him. According to the article, the tweet said by this attorney, "My friend and client Tucker Carlson will not be silenced by the far left or by Fox News." And it was posted with a link to an Axios story, some news thing about the Fox's letter to Tucker Carlson, which is the cease and desist. The attorney also mentioned that they will not be appearing on Fox until they stop trying to silence Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson's new show over on Twitter, which is called Tucker on Twitter, has more than 100 million views that happened within the first 48 hours of the show launching. So, I mean, 100 million views, like I was saying, he's practically doing Fox's numbers on his own. He doesn't even need Fox. He's a competitor to Fox now, so we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. Matthew, they sacked him. What contract? Well, if you sign a cease and desist, I think, or not a cease and desist, a non-compete and all that stuff, I think it lasts for like 10 years. I mean, and, you know, they could have contracted him for specifics. So they could have said, like, the next 100 years, you can't compete with Fox. So, I don't know. A lot of people are saying that when he got fired or whatever, when they let him go and he left Fox, whatever happened, because they didn't really say what happened. A lot of people were speculating, is there a non-compete? Is he going to be able to go live? Stuff like that. I don't think he goes live. I think he posts edited videos and stuff like that. So I don't really know how. It depends on the contract. It's all, fine wording and stuff, and he's got tons of money, so I'm sure he was advised by legal counsel before he launched the show on Twitter, because it was like a week or two prior to him actually, starting to post content or to even speak out about what happened. So I'm sure he knew what he was doing to some degree. Wouldn't it be crazy if after, because Fox will probably air him out, say bad things about him and stuff, because that's what news does, and then watch him countersue for like defamation of character or something like that, and then win. That would be crazy. We'll see how it goes. What's up, Soul for Real? Happy freedom. Matthew, Fox equals government equals censorship. Yep, we're surrounded by censorship. Eric, Twitter isn't a mainstream media competitor. That's true. That's true. It's not. It's not a video broadcasting platform. High Plains Drifter, I deleted Fox News channels after that. Yeah. I don't even follow any news. I just follow live streamers. I go and find the news to do these lives. David, Fox cannot stop Tucker. No. Tucker has so much support. He has so much support. It really reminds me of Project Veritas. I keep seeing them doing promotion on Twitter, and if you go in the comments, it's just a ton of people saying, we don't care. We don't care. You let the main guy go. We follow him now. We don't care about you over there. That's what happens. That's what Fox is doing. They let Tucker go, and now they're trying to stop him because he's becoming successful on his own. Watch them try and cancel him, like Andrew Tate. I seen Andrew Tate is live. I don't know if he is right now, but he was live being interviewed by someone on YouTube. Watch that person get banned. Watch the person that is interviewing Andrew Tate. Watch him get banned now, because Andrew Tate can't have a channel on YouTube. So bringing him onto your show and all that stuff just gets you banned. And so I don't know. What if they do that to Tucker Carlson? They say that he's too honest. He's the truth, and he's posting like awesome stuff. The Tucker on Twitter is awesome. The things he's calling out is awesome. He just called out Obama for he didn't necessarily say him and Michael, but he kind of outlined it there, and a lot of people are talking about that. He knows the truth of what's going on. William James O'Keefe, yeah, James O'Keefe was Veritas, and it's true, and I think everybody feels that way. When I see Project Veritas posts on Twitter, the comments are awesome. They're awesome. Let's see. Back cross. They'll give Tucker an AJ treatment. Yeah, that's what I'm saying right there. They may treat him like AJ, just have him banned, just so no one will. Well, Elon will still carry him. Elon will probably let things fly. He's actually he's promoting Tucker Carlson's show, and I don't want to say begging. He's advertising, saying, "Hey, if you're a news person and you cover the news, you should come cover it live over on Twitter and stuff, and that way Tucker Carlson won't be alone doing this. Everybody is able to come over here and have free speech and you know, all that stuff." We'll see how it goes. Let's see. Hey James, I appreciate you being here. Just waiting for KJP to get on stage. Max, I bet Fox has 101 private detectives watching their biggest adversary. Oh, probably. They probably just get a call from the government. Like, hey, you guys need to do this. They're like, okay. Just reading through the chat. Gator, Tate's being interviewed by Valuetainment. I don't know what it was. I know it was some 3-letter something or other. A powerhouse YouTube channel. Well, we'll see. I bet they get a strike, if not worse, for interviewing Andrew Tate, because everyone hates Andrew Tate. And it's because he's telling men to be men, and they relabel it as being misogynist or whatever. I mean, he does have some bad influence, but the majority of it is, I don't know. He's like, yeah, you should make money and drive fast cars and bang hot broads. That's the majority of his content, and they banned him. They're like, he's terrible. He's a terrible person. I'm like, okay. Eric PDP or PBD podcast. Yeah, that's where that's going on right now. We'll see. We'll see how bad they ate him. Because I saw that channel has a ton of followers, and that will help you fight against the censorship. But if they want you bad enough, they'll get you. We just seen that news channel. They just were censored. They took a video that I was going to cover about this woman being shot 11 times, and they took the video down. So like now we can't even cover it, and they censored that channel. It had 750,000. It had just under what Salty has. Gary, Elon Musk has nothing more than a Trojan horse telling you what you want to hear, and then does the opposite of what he says he's going to do, etc. Yeah. Yep. He always says he's talking about free speech and stuff, and then we see people get censored. And unless they call it out, that stuff flies. If it gets called out, then he's like, oh yeah, that was an accident. That wasn't supposed to happen, and whatever, and he'll go back and undo it. But if nobody speaks out, nope, that stuff will slide. And that they call it hate speech. Yeah. Anything they don't agree with now is considered hate speech. Hydrodynamic, I can't believe that Fox 18 live channel still exists. I don't know how that stuff flies. They run like 8 lives every day, all fake content, and here they are. They even got a badge. They've been authenticated. They have a verified mark, and they're not legit. They're not legit at all. They're a scam channel. What's up, Distracted? Happy freedom. Back cross. Never trust a man trying to put chips in our brains. Yeah, I know. Mad scientist stuff going on. What's up, Peyton? Happy freedom. KJP is super late. 17 minutes late. What's up, Nephthys? Happy freedom. Cheeseburger O. Fox is spam emailing Elon right now. Facts. Could be. Yeah, they probably are. They probably are hitting up Elon. They're like, take Tucker down now. He's a white supreme pizza. And Trump did it. They're just going on and on about it, I'm sure. Jesus, Serum. I'd only smash KJP to save America. Well, someone's got to take one for the team. Serum's stepping up. He's a real hooligan. He ain't messing around. Like, that's good stuff. That's awesome. Let's see. Miss Jamie, I like Elon, but I won't trust him. Can't put faith in an ungodly man. Yeah, I don't know. He's smarter than all of us, so you can't trust that kindness. Loyal Justice, dang. That's crazy. Yeah, I try not to say any of that stuff. Because all they got to do is change the rules and they'll come back and give you strikes for old videos and all that. I don't trust it. What's up, Nikki? Happy freedom. Just waiting on KJP. I guess we could put this up. 'Cause I don't have anything else. We covered everything. We're just waiting on this. It should start any minute. David, or a conspiracy theory. Yeah. Everything's either a conspiracy theory or hate speech. That's all we got anymore. Unless you agree. That's it. You can either agree that's hate speech and racist and white supreme pizza, or it's a conspiracy theory that never happened. That's not true. It's true, James. They do. Laney, anyone else think all the UFO talk is just a huge distraction? Yeah. I don't know. I think people are just tired of the nonsense and they just hope that the aliens are real. They're like, just come on. Just blow the planet up. Come take us over. We're ready for the next step. Whatever's next, just push us into that because what we got here sucks. That's like a lot of people wishing for a zombie apocalypse and stuff like that. They're like, we're ready. Just bring on the apocalypse. You're just dragging us through the mud at this point. What's up, Darth Maul? Happy freedom. Appreciate you being here. Oh, here we go. Awaken One. I thought I missed her. She hasn't come out yet? Nope. Right now. She was supposed to be out 20 minutes ago. It's not too bad. Not too bad. I appreciate all of you guys being here. Make sure you hit that like button and get us on the front page and get the chats filled up and all of that. Maybe we'll even gain some more hooligans. Maybe some people will subscribe or join the membership program and hang out with us because we go live pretty much every day except for Sunday. Hey, I appreciate you, James. Who we got today? Jacqui, where is Peter? Where has Peter been? He's missing. Hydrodynamic. Yeah, what color do you think she'll be wearing today? You got a couple seconds. Drop it in the chat. Darth Maul, let the clown start talking. Heck yeah. I hope she falls on her way to the podium. Sometimes I just say things. I don't know. I should be careful about that. Yep. Hydrodynamic, you think it'll be blue? Eric, you think it'll be purple? I bet she'll come out with a little Orphan Annie outfit. She's gonna come out looking like she's from Little House on the Prairie or whatever. William, you think it's gonna be puke green? Ohio Kyle, you think it's gonna be white? I think it's gonna be red or orange. Snooks, you think orange? Distracted says a dark shade is stupid. Let's see, Eric. Gray. Yep. Loyal Justice, Peter's eating pumpkin. Maybe. You never know. Miss Jamie, you might be right. Oh.
Good afternoon, everyone.
What? She tricked us. She's got like 3 colors on.
So today we mark 7 years since the tragic Pulse nightclub shooting. In the middle of Pride Month in 2016, our nation suffered what was then the deadliest mass shooting in American history. 49 people, predominantly Latino members of the LGBTQI+ community, lost their lives in a senseless act of gun violence. Today, we pray for the families of the victim and every survivor who still carries the trauma. In 2021, President Biden signed a bill designating Pulse nightclub as a national memorial, enshrining into law that it is hallowed ground. The president is continuing to fight to end the gun violence epidemic and continue to urge Congress to make common sense reforms to keep our community safe. This Pride Month, the Biden-Harris administration is going to continue lifting the LGBTQI+ community up and honor the victims who aren't here with us today.
Prostitute.
Tomorrow, the House will mark up the GOP's tax scam 2.0, which they released on Friday. This bill makes House Republicans' values clear. Their priority isn't reducing the deficit, it's giving handouts to rich special interests and corporations that make the debt even larger. Just weeks ago, House Republicans were demanding devastating cuts to programs hardworking Americans count on, from health care to public safety to Meals on Wheels, in the name of fiscal responsibility. But now they are proposing to spend hundreds of billions on tax breaks for big corporations. And they're laying the groundwork to spend trillions of additional tax cuts skewed to the wealthy and big corporations. They would do that while repealing clean energy tax credits that are fueling our manufacturing resurgence, creating jobs, and lowering energy costs for working families. That would ship jobs overseas and raise taxes for some middle-class families. And they're prioritizing restoring expired tax breaks for big corporations over helping working families that need a little bit more breathing room as it relates to childcare and other things that are important to American families. Those are not the president's values. Instead of failed trickle-down policies, President Biden is growing the economy from the middle up and middle out and bottom up.
She don't even know.
Taxes for working people, families with children, and it would pay for those tax cuts and reduce the deficit by ending the taxpayer subsidies for extremely profitable industries and making the wealthy and big corporations pay their fair share. That's an agenda the American people support. So just moments ago, we made an announcement from here, and we are very excited to announce that Tom Perez will be serving as Senior Advisor, Assistant to the President, and Director of Intergovernmental Affairs. Tom will build on the tremendous work of Julie Rodriguez. He brings decades of experience to the White House, having served in local, state, and federal government. His perspective and relationships as a former county councilman, a top civil rights attorney, and Secretary of Labor will be invaluable as we continue to work on government to implement our Investment of America and continue to make our government work for the people and for communities across the country. With that, we have the Admiral in the room today to take any foreign policy questions that you all have. I know it's been a couple of days. Admiral, the podium is yours.
Thanks, Karine. How y'all doing today? I don't have any opening statement, so.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Lying makes you.
You told me that.
I did.
Hi, John. Thanks for doing this. So I'm wondering if you've completed or if you're in the process of a review to determine how the documents at Mar-a-Lago have impacted national security.
Yeah, so I think the Office of the Director of National Intelligence has already spoken to the fact that they were conducting a national security assessment, and I would refer you to them. I don't have any update on that one way or the other.
So today during an interview, Senator Rubio said that there's no allegation that there was harm done to the national security. Does that stand as of now?
Again, I'd refer you to the Director of National Intelligence. They are working with the Justice Department on this, and they did say that they were going to conduct a national security assessment. I don't know the status of it. They would be the ones to talk to you about that.
Okay, thanks.
The administration now says that China already does have this intelligence facility in Cuba. What can you tell us broadly about the threat posed by this facility, and just bottom line, how concerned should Americans be that the Chinese are listening to us from this facility?
Yeah, so look, I think you can understand why we're not going to be able to get into too much detail about our own counterintelligence efforts. But as we communicated over the weekend, this is not a new development. that China's been trying to achieve some intelligence gathering capabilities in Cuba and frankly elsewhere in the hemisphere. And that from day one, when we came in, we took this issue seriously. We've taken some steps to try to mitigate the vulnerability of those activities, and we're going to keep doing that. And the last thing I'd say is we're confident that we can continue to protect our nation's secrets in this hemisphere and beyond, and that we can continue to defend the country appropriately.
And can you just explain why you didn't confirm all of this when it was first reported last week? You said it was inaccurate, but what was inaccurate seemed to basically be the tense that they, weren't going to establish but had already established this facility. Why wait till Saturday to put this out there?
I'm actually really glad you asked that question. I can tell you that
who told him that tie was the one to wear today?
Forthcoming as we should have been at the time the first stories appeared. There is the sensitive nature of this information is such that we just simply couldn't go into more detail even before the first story appeared to try to better inform that reporting. That's how sensitive this stuff is. We just couldn't be more detailed. And then after the first stories appeared, we worked very, very hard, as expeditiously as we could, with the intelligence community to try to get some context downgraded so that we could provide it over the weekend, and we did that. But we were as forthcoming as we should have been, given the nature of this information. Sadly, not everybody seems to take it as seriously as we do, because clearly there's a source or sources out there that think it's somehow beneficial to put this kind of information into the public stream, and it's absolutely not. And there's a limit even now to what we can say about our knowledge of these activities. And I can just tell you, as somebody who works with all of you on lots of different sensitive stories, I wasn't about, in any way, shape, or form, to violate operational security by talking in any more detail, either before the first story or after the first story.
Go ahead, Nadia. Thank you.
Said a whole bunch of nothing. It's like hearing a toddler talk.
The Israeli Prime Minister is saying that any potential deal between the administration and Iran is not going to be binding for Israel. I know the White House denied the talks, but how will complicate the bigger pictures if Israel actually is not cooperating with you and not on board, and how close do you consult with them?
We consult with Israel very, very closely. As a matter of fact, I think coordinator for the Middle East, Brett McGurk, was in the region not long ago and had meetings with Israeli counterparts. We consult with them very, very closely. We have a shared idea of the continuing destabilizing behavior and threats coming from Iran in the region. Again, I'm not going to confirm press reports about deals or no deals. We are laser focused on the destabilizing activity, and it crosses a lot of realms. Not just the nuclear ambitions, but increasing ballistic missile capabilities, the burgeoning defense relationship with Russia, the support to Russia in Ukraine, the harassing of maritime shipping, the support of terrorist networks in the region. I could go on and on. And we talk with the Israelis all the time about this. We have a common sight picture about these threats. Now, the Israelis can speak for themselves, as any nation should speak for themselves about how they're going to deal with the threat. All I can do is tell you what we're doing.
Sudan, the administration efforts, along with the Saudis, have not succeeded of ending the bloodshed or even sustaining the ceasefire. Is there anything more that can be done to stop?
We're still in Jeddah. We still want to see a ceasefire. We still want to see a transition to civilian authority. We still want to see both sides put their guns down. And we're going to stay at that work through diplomacy.
Gotcha.
Thanks. Hey, John. An American citizen, Travis Leak, was arrested in Russia on drug charges. I'm wondering if you have any comments on that arrest and to what extent you are working to determine whether this is a similar wrongful detention case.
I don't have a lot more information on the arrest itself. I really refer you to the State Department. I know that the State Department is, at least as of my coming out here, trying to get in touch with the family, and they're looking into this case. So as far as I know, consular officers were present at his arraignment and did get a consular visit with him. We'll obviously continue to monitor this and stay in touch with his case as much as possible, but it's just too soon for me to be able to characterize it one way or another. And then I think you asked about a wrongful detention. That's going to be up to the State Department to look at.
Was the president briefed on this case?
I don't know. I don't have an update on the degree to which the president was updated.
And then secondly, President Zelensky has now confirmed that a counteroffensive is underway in Ukraine. The Ukrainian military says that it took back 3 villages in eastern Ukraine, but they also appear to be taking heavy losses, including of U.S.-provided equipment. So I'm wondering what the U.S.'s assessment of this counteroffensive is thus far.
We're going to refrain from providing an armchair assessment of this offensive. I'm going to still stay true to that. Look, offensive operations combat is happening. There's no question about that. But it's up to President Zelensky to characterize it, not us. And it's certainly going to be up to the Ukrainian armed forces to speak to the give and take on any given day. It's war. And it has already proven violent. What we're going to stay focused on is making sure that Ukraine can succeed on the battlefield. You saw a package of assistance coming through the USAI program announced at the end of the week. I think very, very soon you're going to see some additional drawdown packages coming from the United States. It won't surprise you that the kinds of things you'll see us continue to give Ukraine are the kinds of things that we know they need in this particular fight.
Can you now tell us whether the Ukrainians provided you any notice that these operations were underway? Now that they've confirmed, I know you've been cagey about saying whether or not this is
I'm not cagey, I'm careful. They had no obligations to give us any kind of heads up or inform us of their operations, nor have they ever in the last 15 months.
Just quickly to close the loop on the China-Cuba story, there are many times when we come to you with stories that are based on classified information, I'm sure often to your chagrin. Going forward, should we expect that the administration is not going to be fully forthcoming when we do have stories like that?
What you can take to the bank, Trevor, is that we'll be as forthcoming with you as we can. There's all kinds of different classified information.
Just bold lies.
You know that. Different labels, different classifications on it.
Lying makes
sometimes
you weak.
There's information that is so classified and so secret that there's a real limit. In fact, there's a real danger to somebody like me trying to provide you a steer before you report. And that was the case here. We were careful. And all I can promise you is that we'll be as forthcoming with you as we can. The fact that we came out a couple of days later and provided some clarifying information does not mean and should not be taken, as I've seen in some of the press reporting, as some kind of walk back. The original reporting, as we said, was inaccurate. And we did the best we could in the moment to be as forthcoming as we could. Unfortunately, it wasn't going to prevent some inaccurate reporting. After the first reports, we worked to get some additional context downgraded, but even that had to be carefully scrutinized. It's shameful that somebody or some bodies somehow think it's okay to put this kind of information in the public bloodstream. Now, you're just doing your jobs. I get that. You got to ask tough questions, and people are going to come to you with all kinds of sensitive information. We'll do the best we can to provide you a steer and to let you know what the vulnerabilities are. Obviously, you and your bosses make the decision about whether you're going to report on it. But I'm comfortable that we were as forthcoming as we should have been and could have been in the moment and remain that way right now.
Understood. Just on the Stoltenberg meeting that's tomorrow now, should we expect that President Biden will be prepared to address any concerns that the NATO Secretary General might have about the handling of classified information related to the Trump indictment?
The agenda for the meeting with the Secretary General is going to be pretty wide-ranging. Obviously, it's going to be very, very focused on Ukraine and what the alliance is doing to support Ukraine, what the United States is going to continue to do to support Ukraine, and certainly it's in keeping with the Secretary General's pre-summit travel. He's making his way to all the capitals.
Nah, Kirby, you ain't shit. Thank you so much, Snooks, for gifting 10 memberships over on YouTube. I appreciate you, Snooks. Thank you. If you guys claim one of those memberships, make sure you thank Snooks. That stuff is not free.
Who would be the next Secretary General? We're grateful for Secretary General Stoltenberg's leadership. Now he's gotten extended 3 times, and he's led the alliance at a very, very critical time, not least of which, even without the war in Ukraine, it would be a critical time, certainly in that context. He's just done a superb job.
Thank you, John. I want to take another stab with the Mar-a-Lago documents. Given that we've seen images that some of them had the 5 eyes on it, have you guys done anything, or can you walk us through what you have done to assure allies about this type of intelligence, and if there's any intelligence? You're not getting into the intelligence assessment. I'm trying to ask about the
I appreciate the question and where you're trying to go, Matt. I'm just not going to be able to talk with any detail about
anything.
Or this case. I mean, it's really something for the Justice Department to speak to, and in terms of any national security assessment, that would be up to the Director of National Intelligence, separate and distinct from all of that. And this kind of gets to my answer to Trevor. We obviously take very seriously our responsibilities to protect classified information and to protect the nation's secrets, and what we're focused on is doing exactly that, is protecting the nation's secrets, protecting our ability to both collect intelligence and to analyze that and to use it to help better defend the country. That's what we're focused on.
But you were just talking about it's shameful regarding the Cuba-China thing for that information.
I'm not going to characterize this is really for the Justice Department to speak to.
Okay, and then just quickly on the meeting tomorrow with the Secretary General, can you walk us through sort of where the president is on Ukraine and whether the president thinks an invitation should be sent for NATO membership to Ukraine? Is there any updates as you guys look toward the NATO summit?
Well, without speaking to the conversation with the Secretary General that hasn't happened yet, our policy with respect to NATO membership hasn't changed. We obviously still support the NATO's open door policy, and those are discussions that have to be had with all 31 allies and, of course, the nation in question here. So we're not taking a position one way or another. I think you know that at Bucharest there was a declaration that made very clear that NATO should be in Ukraine's future at some point in the future. Nothing's changed about that.
Are you able to characterize at all what about the initial Wall Street Journal report was inaccurate?
No.
Okay. And can you be more precise on when precisely China established the base? I know you guys said it was at least 2019. That's as far as you could go in terms of how long. Okay. And trying again on Stoltenberg, does the president believe it's important for the next NATO Secretary General to come from a country that has hit the 2% GDP in defense spending?
The president believes that whoever is the Secretary General of NATO should be an individual who the entire alliance can get behind. And lead the alliance into the future, because is it
going to be Elon
for the alliance? And whenever this war ends, however it ends, NATO is going to be different. For one thing, it's going to be larger, and Ukraine's going to be different, given the scope of westernization of their military. So whoever the next Secretary General is going to be, again, it has to be somebody that the whole alliance can get behind and can be a transformative leader. I think I'll leave it at that.
No, we got enough of those.
Cuba. Has there been any conversation with the Cuban government about the base or the Chinese trying to?
We've made our concerns
to the Cuban government?
Yes, we have.
And on Colombia, if you could do you have any comment on the ceasefire announced between the government and the ELN on Friday?
No, we're aware of those developments, but we don't have we don't have a position to take right now. We refer to those parties.
John, a couple of questions too, to be exact. One, Shekola Robinson. We know that former domestic policy advisor as well as the head of public engagement, met with family and attorneys about the possibility of extradition of the suspects. Anything new? Because Mexico is saying that they're waiting for the United States to move on the extradition of the suspect or suspects.
I'm afraid I don't have anything for you. April, let me, if you allow me, we'll take the question and see if we can get you a better answer.
But make sure you get back to me, okay?
You mean you don't think I will?
I know you will, John. I know you will. But the next question, really fast. As we're in this unprecedented moment, and the White House is very aware, I'm sure the President is very aware, and we're waiting for tomorrow, how would you qualify the mood here, as this is such a serious moment with very sensitive information and a former President of the United States?
The President is focused on his tasks as Commander-in-Chief, April. Again, we're going to let the Justice Department speak to this. His focus is on making sure, as Commander-in-Chief, that he can continue to defend the country, continue to advance our economic competition with competitors like China, make sure that we can advance our foreign policy around the world. That's where his head is. It's squarely on the work in front of him.
But you can't ignore this moment, though. As this president is someone who is a student of history and part of history, to see the person that he was the next in line for to be going through this moment.
The President respects the rule of law and the democratic institutions of the United States of America, and takes very seriously his role as President of the United States in advancing that. And he also...
It's all uhs and ands. Thank you so much, Carl, for gifting 5 memberships over on YouTube. I appreciate you, Carl. Thank you.
And allowing the Justice Department to do their job unimpeded and uninterrupted, certainly by him or anybody on his staff.
John, last Friday, during the press conference between President Biden and the Prime Minister, President Biden again emphasized the solar facility investment in Angola. Is there any possibility in the future President Biden visit Angola to see firsthand this solar facility that he keep emphasizing?
He's very proud of the work we're doing on the continent, and in implementing so many of the things that we agreed to implement at the African Leaders Summit last December. And as you heard him say many times, he does plan to visit the continent. I just don't have anything on the schedule right now to speak to in terms of when and where and what that would look like.
John, is there an effort to find the source of the leak on the Cuba base now?
Not that I'm aware of.
And I guess the reason why this has been characterized as a walk back is that saying that the report was inaccurate left all of us with the impression that this base didn't exist or would not exist. Having heard you saying that you went as far as you could on that, was a reason for your statement at all related to Blinken's travel to China next week?
No.
And then John Ratcliffe said that the allegation that there was a Chinese spy base in Cuba under the Trump administration is not true. What do you say to that?
Not an allegation, true. And our assessment is that the previous administration would have had the same access to that intelligence as we did.
Do you think they knew about it? And
that's up to them to speak to. They would have had the same access to the intelligence that we would have.
When you were briefed on its existence, was the administration told whether or not this information was embraced by the previous administration or anything had been done about it under the previous?
I don't know about what was transferred in as far as the transition between the two administrations with respect to this particular issue. I just don't know.
So how should we understand him saying it didn't exist and you guys saying it did? What should we take away from that?
All I can tell you is that it's our assessment that the previous administration would have had access to the same intelligence that we did. Now, whether they availed themselves of that access, whether any one individual saw it and others didn't, I can't speak to it. We weren't here at the time.
Kelly. Given the events in Miami tomorrow, we all understand that this administration has tried, or at least this White House has tried to distance itself from anything related to the Trump indictment. But if this were a different defendant and a different set of facts, there would always be some oversight from the White House for concerns about larger security issues outside of the court, the kinds of event-related things. Is the White House monitoring that in terms of Homeland Security beyond just at DHS headquarters or just at DOJ? So is there the normal interface? And my larger question is, because you're trying to not talk about it, does that make this more vulnerable to not have the oversight from the White House or the resources or the attention to it?
Does it make security more vulnerable because
the White House is trying to stay out of it?
Yep. The short answer to that, Kelly, is no. I mean, look, without getting into the specifics of this case, I won't do that. Of course, we maintain as a routine matter every day. We maintain connective tissue with state and local authorities for any potential of civic disturbances that could turn violent. So that connective tissue still exists. It exists right now. It exists today, and we'll keep it going. But I won't be able to speak with any more granularity about what security precautions might be taking place down there. But as a matter of course and standard procedure, we stay in touch with state and local authorities as appropriate.
So the sit room would monitor things tomorrow like it would any other?
Like any other issue, we would certainly be paying close attention and making sure that to the degree that federal assistance is needed, that it's provided. But again, I don't want to go beyond that, and I don't want to speculate about what might or might not happen tomorrow.
A few more SB in the back.
You just want to tell us about the false flag.
The administration, like
They're going to stage an event tomorrow.
all administrations, share information for oversight with the Gang of Eight. There are 2 members of the Gang of Eight so far that I've seen. One of them who says what happened with the documents of Mar-a-Lago is really not a big deal. Another one says it's okay because there's a lock on the bathroom door. So is there a reason perhaps to have a discussion with some folks on the Hill about stuff?
Is there a reason to have a conversation with people on the Hill about stuff? Look, I appreciate where you're coming from. I appreciate where all of you guys are coming from on this. I'm just simply not going to talk about this ongoing case. That is really for the Justice Department to speak to, and I'm just not going to be able to go beyond that.
Thank you.
Thanks. I have trying to keep a follow-up, and that's some Iran questions. So does this mean that Secretary Blinken's trip is still on? And does this just change
You'll
any
have
of
to talk to Secretary Blinken and the State Department.
Does this change
travel
any of the
plans.
priorities or the objectives?
It doesn't. Look, I won't speak to his travel or plans. That's for them to speak to. But nothing's changed about the fact that we understand the bilateral relationship with China is tense right now. And nothing's changed about the fact that the president wants to keep the lines of communication open with the PRC. And we talked about this last week, some of the important lines of communication, military to military, are not open. And we want to get them back open. So all of that still tracks. But as for whether this recent reporting out of Cuba is going to affect Secretary Blinken and his travel plans, I would not expect so. But again, I would let you speak to the State Department to talk about that.
On Iran, I'm sure you know the president of Iran is doing a tour of Cuba, Venezuela, and Nicaragua. Just your reaction, your thought on, what he can achieve there and how the U.S. might be countering whatever he's trying to achieve there. And then also...
I'm sorry, who is traveling?
The president of Iran. And then just on the report that China supplied some drone ingredients to Iran to be sent to Russia. Is there any veracity to that report? Is that true? And if so, what can...
I cannot confirm that reporting. And as for the president's visit to Central America, they can speak for their travel habits and their agenda. We don't ask countries in this hemisphere or any other to choose who they're going to associate with or who they're going to talk to or who they're going to allow to visit. That's for them to speak to. We're focused on our own national security interest in the region.
Thank you.
I mean, look, I can't speak to the agenda or what he's doing or what he's going to meet with. Are we concerned about Iran's destabilizing behavior? You bet we are. And we have and will continue to take steps to mitigate that behavior.
Admiral, you were talking about the close coordination that the White House has with the Israeli government. Can you confirm reporting that the Israelis have spoken with the White House about intentions to announce later this month about the building of thousands of new housing units in the occupied West Bank?
I can't speak to that. I don't. I certainly wouldn't be in a position to confirm reports of that nature, except to say we have long made clear our concerns about additional settlements in the West Bank, that we don't want to see actions taken that are going to make a two-state solution that much more difficult to achieve. We don't want to see steps taken that only increase the tensions, and we've been very clear about that. Nothing's changed about our policy.
Did the White House consider using any of its leverage to discourage a plan of this nature? For example, limiting military aid, anything of that nature? Suggesting to Congress, perhaps, that be something it would consider?
Again, nothing's changed on our policy on settlements, and let's not get ahead of where we are right now.
Okay, just a couple more minutes.
Thanks, Kelly, on the end. What does Ukraine need to accomplish in its counteroffensive for it to be considered successful by the U.S.?
That is a great question for the Commander-in-Chief of the Ukrainian Armed Forces, President Zelensky, to determine what his objectives are and what he wants to achieve. What we're focused on, what our objective is, as I said earlier, is to make sure that he and his troops have all the tools, capabilities, training that they need to be successful. That's what we're focused on.
Is there some action that stops short of full membership in NATO that the U.S. and its allies could take in Vilnius that would satisfy President Zelensky's concerns?
Well, you'd have to talk to President Zelensky about that. Again, nothing's changed about our support for NATO's open door. Those are decisions that have to be made by the entire alliance and the country in question. However, we have talked about, and we are continuing to talk to the Ukrainians about some of their long-term defense needs and what that needs to look like going forward. Because at some point this war is going to end. Don't know when, don't know how, and we don't know what it's going to look like. But Ukraine is still going to have legitimate security needs with a long border with Russia. We understand that. So do our NATO allies. And so we're having active conversations with Ukraine right now about what that long-term defense environment looks like, what their long-term defense capabilities need to be. And those are active conversations. Now, how much of that is going to come home to roost in Vilnius, I just don't know, and I wouldn't get ahead of that.
And lastly, next week, President Biden plans to host the Indian Prime Minister for a state visit. Is the president committed to holding a joint news conference with his counterpart when he visits?
I don't believe that the full agenda has been fleshed out for the state visit, but we are very much looking forward to have Prime Minister Modi here. As you know, the United States has a significant defense partnership with India and terrific cooperation inside the Quad, across the Indo-Pacific with India. There's a lot to talk about. We're looking forward to the visit.
Thank you so much. So the Messenger has a story today saying that the administration is drafting plans to evacuate U.S. citizens from Taiwan. Can you confirm that? And does it mean that, according to your assessment, the situation there could escalate sooner as predicted?
Yeah. So look, as you know, it's not routine for it's not routine U.S. policy to evacuate private American citizens from areas of conflict. And there's no indication at this time that current conditions in Taiwan would warrant any reconsideration of that policy. As always, we take our responsibility for the safety of our citizens and personnel seriously, wherever that is, all around the world. And we have routine procedures in place to make sure that we're prepared for any type of emergency.
We could just take two more. Go ahead, Jenny.
Thank you, Karine, and thank you, John. I have two questions about South Korea, China, and Russia. First question, China's ambassador to South Korea, Xin Haiming, said that South Korea would regret it if China loses. And he also criticized that if South Korea sided with the United States, it would regret it. Do you see this as an attempt to retaliate against South Korea? And second question on Russia. Russian President Putin would deploy tactical nuclear weapons in Belarus next month. Do you think this will affect the international crisis and the increase in North Korea's nuclear threat? Thank you.
Okay, Jenny. Look, on the first question, I mean, it certainly appears as if there was some sort of pressure tactic here used. South Korea is a sovereign, independent nation, a terrific ally, and a great friend, not just in the region, but around the world, and they have every right to make the kinds of foreign policy decisions they deem are appropriate. We're grateful for the support that they continue to provide, particularly with respect to Ukraine. On Belarus, all I can tell you is we've seen no indication of anything that would force us to change our own posture with respect to nuclear readiness or capabilities. The constant rhetoric, in this case out of Lukashenko, it just is in keeping with reckless and irresponsible ways of talking about nuclear capabilities. But again, we haven't seen any indication that movement of nuclear weapons is imminent or happening. And we certainly haven't seen anything that would cause us to change our own posture. I can't speak for what that irresponsible, reckless rhetoric impact that might have on Pyongyang. I haven't seen anything that would connect the two.
Yeah, James, you have the last word.
Thank you, Karine, and thank you, Admiral. I should like first to take one more stab at getting you to say something substantive about the Trump case.
Go for it.
And then
I will be just as unsatisfying to you as I have been to everybody else.
That's so prejudicial.
But I also want to be, I got Mauritius up here, and nobody asked me. Nobody. And I was ready today.
He just showed us his answer sheet.
Thrust. But first on the Trump case, and then I want to ask about Americans detained in foreign countries. President Biden, in a speech that was an official speech and not a campaign speech last year in Philadelphia, identified Donald Trump and his supporters as threats to the American homeland. And you amplified those comments in one of your Zoom briefings that you held not long thereafter. Does the enrollment of Donald Trump in the American criminal justice system as a defendant, which necessarily entails certain restrictions on his movements and so on, provide for the American people some reassurance that he is less of a threat than he was when the president made those remarks?
James, I'm just not in a position to speak to that one way or the other.
And then finally, a short series of questions about Americans who are detained in other countries.
Short series?
Yes.
Series? There's not.
I've got a new sign language person.
Those two words don't go together.
Your interjections do not make things shorter. All right. First question is this. You've spoken often about your efforts ongoing to secure the release and return of Americans who are wrongfully detained in foreign countries.
Yeah.
That very formulation implies another category of Americans, the opposite category, whatever you'd want to call it. Americans who are rightfully detained or lawfully or justly detained. First question of three short questions. Does the administration recognize the existence of such a category of Americans? And if so, are they also the object of your efforts to get them released and returned?
Sorry, I was going to write on her book, and I shouldn't do that. You're mad at me. Look, I'd refer you to the State Department on categorization here. I don't know that there is something, I don't know that there's a separate legal category of somebody who is not wrongfully detained. But you're right. There are, some Americans are designated wrongfully detained because we know they're being detained for political purposes or on trumped-up charges. Sometimes Americans get into trouble overseas by violating local laws, and they have to and should answer for their transgressions to those laws. But I don't know that there's a separate categorization. I really would refer you to my State Department colleagues on that.
In terms of the first category, Americans wrongfully detained in foreign countries, is there a ballpark figure as to how many there are around the world?
I don't have that figure.
Somewhere between half a dozen and 200?
I don't know, James.
Okay.
State Department is the right place to go for that.
Last question. Does the administration consider Lieutenant Alconis to be an American who is wrongfully detained?
The President is certainly mindful of and has been briefed many times on Lieutenant Alconis' situation. And what I can tell you is that we continue to work with the Japanese government here to try to address this in the most appropriate and legally feasible manner. That's as much as I can say on that. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Prostitute.
I just
All right,
wanted
thank
on
you.
the record that I was ready
For Mauritius, yes. For the record, Mauritius was ready. I saw it. Okay. I guess whatever you all have left. Not much, I'm sure.
Someone should just throw a shoe at her.
Completed by this point, can you confirm that? The doctor's note said it would be underway.
Yep, so I can confirm that the procedure has been successfully completed. The president is doing just fine, and he'll be certainly working in the residence this afternoon.
Were there any complications?
It's as you all know, for some of you may have had this procedure, it's a general routine dental procedure.
And can you talk about why the White House didn't disclose it yesterday when he got his first root canal and only disclose it today after he would miss a public event?
So look, the initial procedure, as you just stated, Sungmin, was last night, and as you also just stated, we released the memo that was written to me from the doctor this morning or earlier today from his physician, and along with the plan for his root canal procedure today, we also included that as well. Look, I'm not aware of any other administration that has put forward or has talked about, related dental procedure. So again, this is a routine dental procedure. As we've stated, you all have read the President's physician's memo, and there is nothing unusual about this. Millions of Americans go through this process, and so as soon as we were able to hear from the physician about where the president's status was today, we certainly shared that with all of you.
And can you is there any more information you can give on why he needed the root canal? Like, is he not good at brushing his teeth, or does he need to floss better, or anything else?
Wow.
Saw the children bits in his teeth.
Country, you could ask them that question too.
I did a little research this morning.
I mean, look, I am certainly not a dentist by any means, so I cannot speak to what leads to a root canal. I know that it is a regular dental procedure. It is not uncommon. What I can certainly tell all of you, and I think we've said this, you all know this already, we've shared this, he was not put under general anesthesia. The 25th Amendment certainly was not invoked, and he received local anesthesia for the procedure, so I can certainly share all of that. As far as the health of the president's teeth, I cannot speak to that.
Tooth follow-up?
Go ahead.
Thank you. So local anesthesia.
Goodness, quick follow-up?
Tooth follow-up.
Oh, tooth follow-up. Cute.
So the local anesthesia.
Everybody's a little giddy today.
I know.
What is happening?
It's like Friday vibes.
I know, not Monday afternoon vibes.
But on the tooth, can you describe sort of the local anesthesia? What exactly does that mean? What was the president's demeanor, his ability to govern as he was getting this root canal that made you decide not to invoke the 25th Amendment?
So, gosh, I hope you guys, I should never get a root canal here, because then I could see the judgment that coming my way. Look, all I can say.
As if drunk driving wasn't bad enough, right?
It's a routine dentistry. There's nothing unusual about this. We wanted to share as much as we can. So clearly he wasn't under general anesthesia. He was under local anesthesia. And so, as you know, it's a numbing medicine for the local area, which does not have any broader effects. And so, just to give you and everyone else who's listening in or watching a little bit of that detail. And the president.
What the hell are we talking about?
It started clearly last.
Most Americans watching this understand how going to the dentist works.
He'll be in the residence working this afternoon, and that's the best that I can say. I have never gone through a root canal, so I'm sure others who have gone through that process can actually share more of what that's like. But again, this is something that Americans just across the country, go through. Many of them do, and it's routine, and he is fine, and it was complete.
Is he allowed to talk at
that? Honestly, I have not spoken to the president, so I cannot say if he's.
From the root canal.
Oh, well, have you had a root canal, April? So there you go. Root canal. So you want to share?
You want? Okay, yeah.
Go ahead.
Local,
Who is it, April?
shot, that's it.
Okay, there you go.
And
It's April.
Well, there you go. Thank you so much, April. Go ahead. Okay.
On the Trump docs, this is not a graceful segue,
okay.
but
Different segue here.
Given the severity of the case that a former president was charged and the sensitivity of the documents, are you concerned that the intelligence review has not been wrapped up yet? I mean, shouldn't it be expedited? And what can you share with the American public about, whether national security was threatened or not?
So look, I'm not going to, as you've heard from my colleague moments ago, I'm not going to speak directly to the case. What I can say, and also the Admiral spoke to, the national security pieces of this, certainly not going to go beyond what he stated here at the podium. What I can say, and you've heard us say this over and over again, this is a president that respects the rule of law. This is the president that wants to make sure and has proven that to be in his actions, to make sure that the Department of Justice is truly independent. And, and he said that during the campaign. He's restoring certainly the integrity of the Department of Justice, and that is something that's important to this president. And I'm going to just leave it there. I'm just not going to speak to the case at all, or comment on the case, and so I would refer you to the Department of Justice on anything specific, or ODNI on the national security aspect of this. Okay.
Thanks, Karine.
Thanks, Karine. CPI is supposed to come out tomorrow. Yeah, I was just wondering, there seems to be a bit of a debate on Wall Street about whether it's going to come in hot or softer than we've seen, and I'm just sort of curious what expectations are here at the White House.
So I know it's coming out tomorrow. Certainly not going to, predict from here. As you know, and you've heard us say this many times before, we believe that the plans that the president, the economic policy plans that the president has put forth, and also as it relates to the historic pieces of legislation that has passed under this president, certainly has helped the economy get it back on its feet. Annual inflation, as you've heard us say, has fallen for 10 months in a row, down more than 40% since last summer. So that is incredibly important as we talk about lowering costs. And look, in addition, the president has taken this very seriously. When he looks at his economic policy, at the number one thing that he wants to do is continue to lower costs from the American people. Hence, as I just mentioned, the historic pieces of legislation, Inflation Reduction Act, does that with energy, does that with healthcare costs. And so certainly that is going to be something that the president's going to focus on when CPI numbers come out tomorrow. I'm sure, as we always do, our economic experts will look into it, we'll go into the data, and certainly we'll have more to share tomorrow.
And I just wanted to ask about your topper. You're, I think we could say, very critical of the Republican tax proposal. I'm wondering, last year, lawmakers were sort of unable to strike a deal that would see some business tax cuts restored or go into effect in exchange for things like the child tax credit or earned income tax credit the Democrats have wanted. Should we read your comments at the top as you guys think that the Republican proposal is sort of so far out there that you're not going to see a deal this year, or do you see a potential negotiation?
So it's a very good question. Look, the way that we see this process, the way that the president sees this is like he's always open to a conversation about lowering the deficit. Absolutely. That is something that the president wants to do. We talk about bipartisanship a lot. He has signed more than 350 pieces of legislation that were indeed bipartisan. Most recently, as you all know, the budget agreement that was critical in making sure that we did not default for the first time ever in the country's history. But he also is going to make sure that we speak clearly about when we're reducing the deficit, we got to do it also by making
Yep, I'm sure Old Man Walter is the authority on speaking clearly.
Just put this on everyday Americans, working families, and we have to make sure that we continue to lower costs as it relates to, as you're talking to me about cutting child poverty. That is something that's incredibly important. But unfortunately, we see that, and I said this at the top, that Republicans are more interested in trickle-down economics, and that is not what this president is for. We want to have the conversation. We do. We want to have the conversation about lowering the deficit. Budget agreement that we just signed does that by $1 trillion, and that was in a bipartisan way. So let's continue to have those types of conversation on how we can really deliver for the American people, lower cost, and make sure that the wealthy pay their fair share.
Just to very clearly, but would a tax deal have to lower the deficit for the White House to sign off on it? Because, if business taxes are cut and earned income tax credit or child tax credit come in, most likely that will in combination raise the deficit, but it might have sort of positive effects.
Well, that's why we say lowering the deficit and making sure the wealthy pay their fair share, right? I think that's why we say those things in conjunction, because we think that's how you really move forward with that type of policy in a fiscally responsible way. That's what the president is about, doing things fiscally responsible, and you see that in his actions, you see that in his economic policy, right? We did it in a fiscally responsible way. I think that's a bless you for the person back there, and also you see that in just the budget agreement as well.
The air is much clearer today, but the Canadian wildfires are still ongoing. Do you have any update on the coordination between the White House and the Canadian government? Where do things stand right now?
Are you new to
No, I'm Kelsey Snell from NPR.
Oh, okay, but are you new to the room?
I am here for the time being because our good friend Scott Deschaux is now hosting.
Well, welcome. Thank you.
Okay, so I do have a couple of things to share. The USDA is in receipt of the senator's letter. There was a letter from Senator Schumer, and so just wanted to make sure that you all just, focusing on that because he wanted to know what else we were doing as well. But since May, more than 600 U.S. firefighters and personnel have been on the ground to help Canada battle these fires. We've mentioned that. I've mentioned that from here. The president has mentioned that as well in his press conference last week. And then more on the way. President Biden has also directed the National Interagency Fire Center to respond promptly to any requests from Canada for additional firefighters and the fire suppression equipment, such as air tankers. So we are continuing to be in touch with the Canadian government. We also spoke about, I think the president said that at the top of his press conference last week on Thursday, that he spoke directly to the Prime Minister as well, offering up our resources, offering up assistance. And so this is, again, it has been happening since May. The president has been regularly briefed. We have certainly provided resources, personnel, firefighters, and so we are at the ready to assist if there is any additional help that is needed from Canada, for sure. Go ahead, Karen. I haven't called you.
A couple questions, if I can, on the I-95 collapse. Has the president now spoken with the Pennsylvania governor or Philly Mayor Kennedy about this, and will he visit the site when he goes to Philadelphia on Saturday?
So I can say that I don't have any calls to read out from the president as it relates to the governor or the mayor. I can say for sure that Secretary Buttigieg has been in touch with the governor and the mayor. I don't have any travel, amended travel to lay out from the president this week.
Secretary Buttigieg said today that there's going to be a major disruption for the Northeast region in terms of supply chains and movement of goods. Is there something the federal government can do, something that's been learned from previous supply chain challenges and disruptions to ease issues now in that area over the next couple of months?
So it's a really good question. What I can tell you is that, as I mentioned, we are certainly prepared to offer any federal support. The FHWA, which is the Federal Highway Administration administrator, will be administrator, something like that, will be in Philadelphia today on the site to kind of take a look at exactly what happened with the collapse. And so he certainly will be, kind of investigating, taking a look. And so, look, this is why the bipartisan infrastructure legislation is so important. This is why the president fought so hard for it. As I was asked about, can we do things in a bipartisan way? Not really asked that way, but I laid out that, this is something that the president really wants to do. And so that law is going to address crumbling roads and bridges across the nation. And let's not forget broadband and so many other things that's important to communities across the country. So with that law, I think that we can hopefully be in a place where we are addressing these types of issues in a real way. But again, the administrator is going to be on the ground today. Is going to take a look at exactly what happened. I don't want to get ahead of that.
Thanks, Karine. Do you have any reaction to the death of Silvio Berlusconi? Silvio Berlusconi.
Oh, yes, I do have something to share about the Italian, the former. I do have something here. So, the former
lying
Italian
makes
Prime
you
Minister.
weak.
So we extend our condolences, certainly to the former Prime Minister's family and friends, and to the government and people of Italy upon his passing. Italy is a long-time friend and ally of the United States, and the Prime Minister worked closely with several U.S. administrations on advancing our bilateral relationship. We stand with the people of Italy today as they mark the passing of their former Prime Minister. Go ahead, Jeremy.
Thanks, Karine. I understand that you're not going to address the indictment of the former president directly, but I wanted to ask you about some of the rhetoric that has emanated around it. And in particular, several Republican lawmakers and presidential candidates have talked about this idea that the federal government, in this case the Justice Department, is being weaponized against the president's political opponents. And so I wonder what you can say to Americans whose faith in the Department of Justice, in its independence, in its nonpartisan nature, may be shaken. What would you tell those folks?
So two things. I think two things I want to say in answering your question, Jeremy. The first part is, and I just stated this earlier before, and because the president has said this, we have said this from this administration, and I want to be careful that I'm not going to speak to the case directly, just to this is a broader statement here. The president respects the Department of Justice. He respects the rule of law. He has said this during the campaign. He has said this multiple times during the last 2 years in this administration. And we want to make sure he particularly
during the campaign, I didn't see him campaigning at all.
Department of Justice, that we do not politicize the Department of Justice. And, that is something that he's going to continue to do. That is why when I'm asked about the specific case, anything related to that case, we refer to the Department of Justice, because we are not going to politicize it from here. The president's not going to politicize it from here. And we're going to be certainly very, very, very diligent and very straightforward about that. The second part that I do want to say, you didn't really ask me, but as it relates to what we're hearing, the criticism that we're hearing, look, and this is a little bit, there's a theme here of what we've been talking about, at least the last couple of questions. This is the president that wants to get the job done for the American people. He wants to lower cost. He wants to make sure that we deliver for American families, for American workers, for American people. And
the Orange Eagle does.
The last 2 years. And so he would love to work in that, good faith, with congressional leaders, Republicans across, Republicans in the House and the Senate, to do just that, continue to create jobs, continue to build on the successes that we've seen.
Old man Walter can't find his way off of a stage. Orange Eagle did 2 rallies on Saturday. Like, come on. You can't lie to us. Like, come on.
In a bipartisan way, and that's going to be our focus. That's what the president is going to continue.
Old man Walter's focus is to not crap his pants.
The integrity of the Justice Department. Some of the former President Trump's allies have also talked in pretty bellicose terms about what's happening. Congressman Andy Biggs said we've now reached the war phase, saying an eye for an eye. Steve Bannon said we're at war. Carrie Lake suggested that President Biden, the Attorney General Garland, and the special counsel would have to go through millions of gun-owning Americans to get to the former president. Do you have any response to that kind of rhetoric, and what danger do you think it presents in our country?
So look, what I will say is what I just kind of reiterated, what the president's focus is on. He's focusing on delivering for the American people. As it relates to any kind of protest, we have said this before, we have said this in other iterations of this, is that we're always prepared. And don't want to speculate from here. And I think the Admiral kind of stated this as well, as how we just function on a day-to-day basis. And we're just going to stay prepared, and we're going to just continue to give the Department of Justice its independence, make sure it continues to have its integrity. We're going to continue to believe and certainly respect the rule of law, and we're just not going to comment beyond that.
To that end, has the president been briefed on the security preparations for the former president's appearance at a federal courthouse tomorrow?
So, as you know, the president regularly gets briefed every morning by his National Security Council and his the intelligence community every morning, as you all know, or every day, to be more precise. I just don't have anything else to share. What I can tell you, certainly not going to speculate from here, and we will be prepared.
And then very quickly on another topic, Senator Blumenthal today announced that the Senate Subcommittee on Investigations has opened an investigation into the proposed PGA Tour and LIV Golf merger. At this point, does the White House have any comment on that? Do you support that investigation?
So I have not talked to my colleagues about this, so I just don't have more to share from here. Okay. I'm just going to go, who haven't called? Go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, thanks. Kamala Harris stood in for the president today at the event with college athletes, and she seemed very polished. Was she when did she find out about that she would be subbing?
She found out when we all found out this morning internally.
Well, she was not told yesterday.
I mean, it was a routine procedure.
Yeah.
It is a regular routine procedure. So this is something that that when you do something like that, it's something that's between the physician and certainly the president. And so I'll just leave it there. But we all found out this morning.
You go under anesthesia or something unexpected?
I'm sorry.
Oh, we're allowed to have medical privacy again?
It's a regular routine procedure, right? There's no general anesthesia needed. It's a local anesthesia. I mean, it is a root canal. Millions of Americans go through this. There's nothing mysterious about it. It is a regular thing that many people go through.
Understood. And back on the indictment, Jack Smith, he encouraged really any American to read it. Has the president read it?
I'm just not going to comment on anything related to that. Go ahead, Jeff.
Karine, thank you. Has the White House had any progress or made any progress on getting Senator Tuberville to back off his hold on these dozens and dozens of senior military officials who can't be confirmed by the Senate because of Senator Tuberville?
So look, I've talked about this many times and how dangerous what the senator is doing. I would refer you to the senator directly and ask him those questions about why he's doing this and what his next move might be. I just don't have anything else to share from here, but certainly we have talked about our disappointment in his reaction to getting our nominees forward, which are incredibly important for the American people as we talk about national security, as we talk about moving the agenda forward. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
Jared Bernstein's vote in the Senate is expected this week. Does the administration have an outlook on the vote? Do you have any concerns that you may not be able to?
So I don't have an outlook on the vote count. As you know, this is Jared Bernstein has been in the administration for the last 2 years as the president's economist, one of the president's economists. Jared has had a long relationship with the president as vice president. So we look forward to getting him through. Certainly, he has the full support of this president, and so I'll just leave it at that. But clearly, we are all in on getting him through the confirmation process. All right, guys, I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you.
Prostitute.
Well, that's the press briefing. Really informative there.
Lying makes you weak.
Had to sit there and listen to Kirby Hot Dog Fingers. Can't stand that guy. Thank you so much, Mike, for gifting 10 memberships over on YouTube. I really appreciate you, Mike. Thank you. If you guys claim one of those memberships, make sure you thank Mike. That stuff is not free. Well, I think we're going to show a little bit of the Trump supporters, I guess we'll call them, outside in Florida. Of course, they got it all black screen right now. Let me see. We're just going to kind of skim through it because apparently they're not showing anything right this second. There's not a lot going on. Few people. I know Oreo Express is down there. I'm not sure who else is down there. It's not a lot going on today. Tomorrow is when it's going to be busy. And we'll be covering it. Seeing what's all going on. Trying to skip to a spot where we can see everybody out there. It's not a ton of people.
Lock him up, baby. He's going down.
This guy's counter-protester, it looks like. There's more people with cameras than anything else, it looks like. This guy's just trying to get famous.
Biden's
want to hear the interviews. They could say, God only knows what they could say. I'm not trying to catch a strike today. But as you can see, not a whole lot going on down there. Who is this? Oh, they actually ended the live. They just ended it right now. It's Reuters. I'll add that into the description after the live. That way, if you want to go back and watch the whole deal, you're more than welcome to go do so. So that's all I had to show today. That was all the coffee I had. We were wrapping things up pretty much with the White House Press Briefing. Taking all that time. Miss Jamie. Just a little screaming goat to cleanse the palate there. Get KJP's voice out of your head. KJP lying her face off. Her and Kirby suck face. That's alright. Well, that's all I had for today. What is today? Monday. We will be playing the game later, 10 p.m. Eastern Time. If you want to watch that, go find JeffMAC Gaming. You can find it on the link tree. With that being said, please go find the link tree. On the link tree, all of my links are listed. You should be able to find it in the description if Snook's not already posting it in the chat. Scroll down and find Gilded. Gilded is free and currently the best way to receive notifications for when and where we go live. Every time we go live, you'll have the availability to go check out all the resources on there, such as the news board. News board has all kinds of stuff being posted all day, every day to keep you up to date with everything going on around the world. There's a ton of hooligans in there to hang out with and chat it up. So definitely go join Gilded. Also on the link tree, you can find links to the merch store if you'd like to grab some merch. We have shirts, hoodies, stickers, coffee mugs, and a bunch of other specialty items. Everything is displayed in black and white or white and black, but if you find something you like, just click on that item to see all the different colors that the item comes in. You can also find links for PayPal, Cash App, Venmo, Stripe, Zelle, Buy Me a Coffee, and Locals if you'd like to help support what I do. There's also a link to the Amazon wish list if you would like to send me stuff. It's really easy to use. Anything you purchase will be sent straight to me without having to send emails, find addresses, or keep track of tracking numbers. You don't have to do any of that. It's really simple to use. And then finally, we have links for the membership programs. We have memberships for YouTube, Gilded, Discord, Odyssey, Rumble, and Twitch. And then at the top of the link tree there, you can see the link to claim a free week membership on jeffmaclive.com. With a membership, you'll have access to your own profile for our private social media area. You'll have access to our live streaming area with the built-in chat, and you'll also have access to our advanced messaging system with the ability to text, call, video call, group text, group call, group video call, and the ability to upload all digital media that's ever existed. So MP3s, videos, pictures, slideshows, all that stuff. It is the freest place on the internet, so go join jeffmaclive.com. All right, hooligans. You know what time it is. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I swear I can still hear the beats in my head when I'm doing the Pledge of Allegiance. So much time in front of the live. That's my theme music. Just walking around with the beats playing. I appreciate all of you hooligans being here today. We had a pretty good turnout for a Monday. If you guys are new here, please subscribe. Consider joining the membership program and all of that. We're live every single day except for Sunday, covering the news and live events as they happen. If you guys are interested in joining the gaming channel, because we like to have fun every now and then, we've moved it over to its own channel. I will drop the link in the chat. Like I said, we will be gaming later on. You can find all of my links on the link tree, but without scrolling, here's JeffMAC Gaming. If you'd like to go join that and hang out for some fun, less serious stuff going on over there. What's up, Lemon Yellow? Appreciate you watching over on Kick. There you go. Dropped all the links, did all the things. I appreciate you hooligans. Big shout out to everyone that made donations, joined the membership program, or purchased any merch. I really appreciate all of you, and I would not be able to do this without you. So thank you so much for all your support. I'll see you on the next live. Until then, stand tall, shine bright, and that's a wrap.